Welcome to a Crop and Create delivered video tutorial from Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine. This is designer Lynn Ghahary, and today we are going to create a layout from start to finish using the Crop and Create delivered fall kit. Let's get started. We are going to be using this sketch from Becky Fleck. I'm going to be using a plain piece of craft cardstock for the base of my layout. I've also cut a strip of orange cardstock, and I'm going to be placing that in the middle of my layout. You can see I've also used a notebook edge punch on the right hand side. The sketch calls for several squares, some of them including photos and some of them not. And there's also places for journaling in the middle. I've already pre-printed my journaling on some patterned paper. You can see here that I printed it first on a piece of computer paper and then ran it through my printer again. I'm just going to be doing a little bit of measuring here. Because this is such a graph or grid designed layout, I want to make sure that everything is exactly where I want it, lined up and evenly spaced. So you can see I've actually carefully pulled up that orange cardstock, and I'm going to carefully place it down about a ½ inch from the left-hand side of my base cardstock. Now I'm going to go ahead and place my journaling evenly along that orange cardstock piece. This is a Halloween themed layout that I'm doing, and the journaling is all about my son's costume for that year. He was Harry Potter, and I really liked the design of this sketch because it gave me a lot of room for journaling, and I could really add some details to the story that I wanted to tell. Now I'm going to come back in here and start placing down the different squares. I've cut patterned paper in squares, and I'm going to be placing them along the top and bottom of each of my journaling blocks. I'm also going to be adding photos to some of those patterned paper squares. Some of my photos will be in color and some of them will be black and white. And you'll see, I often like to mix black and white and colored photos. I think it adds some nice design detail to my layouts. This block right here is going to be my title block. So I'm using one of the die cuts from the basic gray die cut pack, and it says hello, and I backed that with some yellow patterned paper so that it pops out a little bit more from the patterned paper that I'm going to be placing it on. And now I'm just using the basic gray tiny alphabet stickers to spell out my title, and my title is Hello Harry, because again, my son was dressed up as Harry Potter. You can see when I'm placing this title, I actually started from the right-hand side. That's something that I'll often do. If I know where I want my title to end, I'll start with the last letter of the title as opposed to the front, or the first letter rather. And now I decided I'm going to mix the uppercase and the lowercase letters a bit here for my title to add a little bit more detail. And as always, I'm using a tweezer to paste down my letters. I think it just adds, or rather gives me a lot more control when I'm placing these tiny little letter stickers. I'm placing the alphabet stickers a little haphazard. You know, some of them are askewed just to add a little bit more of a whimsical feel to this layout. And now I'm going to pop up my title block with some dimensional adhesive. Once I have my title block where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and continue adding my patterned paper squares. I really liked this chevron pattern. I thought that it pulled out the maroon from my son's costume and also added a little bit of that fun Halloween color scheme. While this isn't a Halloween kit per se, the yellow, the green, the orange, that maroon color, they're all Halloween type colors. Moving along to the bottom here, this is going to be an embellishment block, so I have cut a small piece of the yellow patterned paper and used the notebook edge punch along the one side. And now I'm going to be adding in one of the tags from the Basic Grade die cut package, as well as this really fun Maya Road camera paperclip. Before I place the paperclip down, I just want to add a little bit of pen stitching along the edge of this notebook punched paper. And now I'm going to slip the paperclip behind the tag, and then to give it some extra staying power, I'm just going to use a little mini glue dot at a point on the paperclip where it has a little bit more metal, so that I can just slip that glue dot back behind there and it can hardly be seen. Now I'm going to just continue along, placing my patterned paper blocks. This last block again will also be another embellishment block. You can see that the photos are in a visual triangle, as well as the embellishment blocks and the title block. Another Basic Gray die cut, this time in the shape of a pennant, along with a pennant that I cut from the yellow patterned paper and a strip of striped patterned paper. And now I'm just going to add in some more pen stitching with my black journaling pen. And I decided that I wanted to add some pen stitching below my title. And I'm going to add a second line a little askew. Again, when you do things off center a little bit, or not exactly straight, it adds a little bit more of a whimsical, casual feel to your layout. And that was definitely the look that I was going for here. And then I decided that I wanted to add some pen stitching to the perimeter of my base cardstock as well. I think a lot of times when you add pen stitching around the perimeter, it helps to bring the eye inwards and to really kind of just tie everything together, and so that it doesn't feel like any of the pieces are floating off the ends of the page. As you can see, this was a really quick and easy layout to put together. I think I completed this layout within 10 minutes. It's perfect for getting those Halloween photos off of your digital camera and onto a scrapbook layout. Here's a look at the completed layout and some detail images. For more information about Crop and Create Delivered, please visit www.scrapbookandcards.com or www.scrapbookandcardstodaymag.typepad.com.